interested in that job I mentioned? At first glance, job's simple. Kill a Striga. Strigas are curable. Their curses can be lifted. Wouldn't mention that to your client, though. You slay it, you're done. It's clean. Disenchantment's harder and not always effective. And if you give a bitter man hope, take it away, well, he can turn volatile. Here, my notes. They might help you decide. Never meant to go all in, but I wanted to try. Be nice to put someone on the road to a happy ending, for a change. Job's from a hermit. Lives outside the village, keeps to himself. I'll mark his hut on your map. Make sure the contract's still open. Either was off, then learn the good citizen got tired of waiting, drank away the reward money at the local tavern.
They spotted a big burly man fighting an Arrakis. His moves belied uncommon skill, for a human at least. Though the man seemed to be faring well enough on his own, the Witcher preferred not to take any chances. He promptly rushed in to fight.
Will you?
do you for, Witcher? Aye. Of course I do. Keep it handy with me unicorn tears of the Philosopher's Stone. That'll be 60 gold coins. Since when does gold burn? Fine. Just jesting with you. Here. Surveyed the bones, picked clean and strewn haphazardly on the ground before the crypt. Then he stepped inside and blockaded the door. As the ritual indicated, he lit the first candle and began the incantation. All that could be heard was his steady voice and the distant howls of the Striga. Witcher slayed the Striga and received the promised reward. The old mercenary never learned his daughter could have been disenchanted. Perhaps that was a blessing after all. Some time later, the neighbouring village's inhabitants found his abandoned hut. No one could say for sure what had happened to the hermit who once lived there.
Mr. Witcher, Mayor Always calling for you.
I have business with you, Witcher. Something's attacked the Zivix farm. A very big something. Seam Brightener should have heeded your words. Will you take care of it? I'll be overjoyed to mark it on your map.
Mr. Witcher. Like, before I become a knight, with a big sword and a huge shield, what do I do if I meet a monster? The frightafire you're hunting. The village grannies say you gotta sprinkle soap between its eyes and spit 3 times behind you. Is that true? What's that mean? What if he's seen you? Thanks, Mr. Witcher. I'll remember that.
As they neared the farmhouse, Thorstein regretted his hearty breakfast. The sight of the grisly scene painted in red before their eyes threatened to call that breakfast back up his gullet. The Witcher began to examine the bodies. All the signs indicated a frightener, a dangerous insectoid. They followed in its tracks. There, Witcher. Quite the pounding I gave you, brother. Swear you flew near 7 fathoms. A concise summary, Witcher. You don't say much, but when you open that mouth of yours, your wisdom knows no bounds. Glad to hear you yourself again. But seeing as how I'm myself too, it's unlikely that I'll stop talking. And what now? Slaying that frightener of yours sure ain't child's play, is it? I heard that Varric, though he's the crankiest old goat you ever saw, is hosting Vesemir until the Witcher heals up.
It's you. Alive? With all your limbs? I assume you managed the Striga. How'd it go? A Frightener? Here? They usually avoid populated areas. But once they settle in... well, I don't envy you. Reluctant to part with this. It cost me a great deal, and I don't mean in coin. But I wouldn't be here if not for you. Crafted by a mage, I knew. Real bastard, but Clever. He had whole shelves of experimental poisons, each one meant to affect a different monster. Events, his entire collection landed in my hands. The few I've used worked rather well. This one should too. You'll need to add a strong solvent to the poison. Archospore digestive juices should do the trick. Good luck, kid.
I have a proposition for you, Witcher. And here I have something much more effective. It shall be yours if you do something for me in return. Nothing of consequence. I merely request that you delay fulfilling your contract by 24 hours. In this pouch, you will find twice the reward offered by that commoner. I shall find you at the appropriate moment.
Led them to a place that had until recently been a lively, vibrant village. Now, bodies smothered in clotted blood lay strewn about haphazardly, their clouded eyes staring blindly into the ether. Somewhat off to the side stood the masked sorcerer. The Witcher surveyed the consequences of his decision. Then he strode towards the man.
As agreed.
I was on an errand, and out of nowhere comes this gigantic monster. This big! Good thing you told me what to do. Couldn't find a hidey hole, so I pretended to be dead. Thought I'd near die of fright, but it worked. Thanks, Mr. Witcher. Owe you my life, I do. Good luck. Kick him right up the four-letter word. Or however many he's got. One more thing, Mr. Witcher. I want to give you something. This is my best sword. Made it myself. Even the blacksmith said it's got great balance.
Decided to ignore the sorcerer's proposition, and she attacked the monster without delay. This time, the frightener fell to the Witcher's poisoned sword. As his breathing slowed, he began to examine the body. He knew from Thorstein's pointed grunting behind him that he could expect a conversation with the merchant very soon. Well, that was something. Ye gods, that's one ugly bugger. I never liked bugs myself. Suppose nobody much likes them now that I think of it. But this is too much. But you did it. And with style too. Once you've settled things with the mayor, we're feasting. Your treat. I must admit, Dalterthana offers no end of adventure. Perhaps we can stay here a wee bit longer.
Teelan has been utterly flattened. A mere handful of survivors. What happened here, Witcher? Yes. All of Teelan pitched in for your payment. I gave the survivors back their money. The rest is yours. Farewell.
After the unexpected encounter with the sorcerer, it was time for celebration. The Witcher, smiling crookedly, listened to the colourfully embellished anecdotes, as told by a wildly gesticulating Thorstein. The night was young, the beer was cold, and a pouch full of gold was sitting heavy on his belt. He felt no pressing need to leave Altarthana. What if they stayed here a while longer?